So this past week, I took our middle daughter Keaton to see Jurassic World. She didn't want to go because she had this idea it would be scary, but I wanted to go, so I used executive power and took her to the movie. So it was just she and I, and it was going to be great. It did take a couple hours of calming and coercing and convincing. Got her out the door, got her tickets, we're walking down the hallway, longest hallway in the world, and I see tears start to well up in her eyes. I said, no, we just have to get through the door, you're going to be fine. So we get to our theater, she jets up the stairs. We are now tucked away up in the furthest corner from the screen, and she's got her knees up, her arms wrapped around her legs. I've got my arm rest up so that she can throw her head in my lap or throw herself on the floor, which she's been known to do, and I think we're good until we get 2 previews in, and she looks at me and says, Mom, you have to get me out of here. I'm going to freak out. Mom, I'm not kidding. I'm going to freak out. You have to get me out of here. She's having a minor crisis. So I look her in the eyes and say, Keaton, you are responding out of fear and anxiety about something you haven't even experienced yet. You are going to give it at least 5 minutes before you decide that you totally hate it and are terrified, and you're going to trust me that I wouldn't bring you to a movie that would scar you the rest of your life. I don't think. So it worked. She stayed the first 5 minutes, ended up loving the movie, and is still talking about it days later. Her experience in that theater really parallels what I experienced in being called by the Lord to step out and go to Uganda. From the moment Brooke asked me to go to the moment our plane took off into the air, I had that same flux of emotion where there were times where I thought, I can do this. I can walk in faith. It's going to be great. And then moments where I thought, how can I get rid of my ticket? And how can I contract the flu so I can't go? Those moments were battling within me, but I took off and I went, and I'm so thankful that I did. Of course, while I was there were the experiences that made me think, oh my gosh, how did I get here? For instance, the first day we're there, being flagged down and asked to escort an injured Ugandan soldier who lost his leg to enemy fire. Or going to the market with the sweet Carol Adams, who was hosting us, and her leg buckles, she falls down, cracks her head, there's blood everywhere, and we're left to find someone to help her when there's no convenient care, no St. Mary's. Or the final day, when we're just trying to get to the plane, and the Ugandan officer who searches my bag doesn't know what my breakfast cookie is, and once I try to explain it, she asks if she can have it. Of course. Please, it's all yours. You know what? I was thinking about fasting anyway. Can I go ahead and go now? Great. So those experiences, which I can sort of laugh about now, were certainly intense and left me longing for U.S. soil. But more often, while I was there, and especially since I've been home, I felt much like the disciples did, I think, after Jesus would speak to the masses and share a parable. And they would find him afterward to say, dude, what did that mean? And I've been asking that a lot, thinking back on moments and thinking, what did that mean? And I'd have to say one that just sort of solidified in my heart wasn't until just a few days ago when we were at small group, and somehow the conversation just started rolling, and it occurred to me the widow who gave her last 2 coins. She gave out of her poverty. And everyone else there, their offering was out of their wealth, and therefore wasn't as meaningful. It's not hard to give when it's comfortable. And so often, as a believer, I've tried to align myself more with the widow, that I am like her because I'm giving of my lower income, or my schedule is full of ministry opportunities, or I'm spending a lot of time with other people. So I'm sort of like the widow in being so generous and so willing to lay down my life. But being there and experiencing true sacrifice, women who've lived there 22 years to share the gospel. A family who went to adopt and now has to live there 3 years to show their dedication to their daughter. I am one of the people giving of their wealth. My full schedule doesn't necessarily mean that I'm laying down my life at all. My small amount in my checkbook doesn't mean that I'm being generous with my money. I have been challenged to consider how I can truly be sacrificial. Because while before I puffed myself up and considered myself to be, the Lord has really revealed to me there are ways to appear sacrificial while giving nothing of yourself. And I want to be someone who has to count the cost and has to lay down what I want instead of making ministry fit in where I want it to. I want to say yes, whatever you have for me today. And so that's my challenge to myself, and I pray that the Lord will continue to reveal how I can be more sacrificial. And I pray the Lord blesses you in all that He calls you to.